So this is my best friend John. John's a murderer and he also steals, but I'm a Christian and I hang out with him all the time. This is one common misconception about Christians that's developed because of the people who we choose to be friends with. As a Christian, you need to choose who you be friends with very importantly. The people you choose to be friends with are going to either give you positive or negative impressions. If you choose to hang out with people who do things that go against what God says and go against the Bible, those impressions, either knowingly or unknowingly to you, are going to leave an impression on you and cause you to feel and act the way that they do. While if you hang out with someone who does uphold the way that God feels in the Bible, then you're going to feel more obligated to act that way because of the way your peers are acting. Basically, obviously, you don't want to hang out with people who your best friend would be a murderer and a thief because, I mean, that's going to tell people who are non-Christians that by your action just hanging out with them, that as a Christian and for Christians, that they condone that type of behavior. So my thesis was that Christians need to choose who they accept to be friend and who they just accept very differently. I have 3 main points. My first main point is that Christians need to befriend people of similar social status. All great friendships are backed by belief in the same religion. And Christians need to accept all people regardless of their religion and behaviors and actions. So my first main point, once again, was Christians need to befriend people of similar social and economic status. And one of the reasons for this is because if you don't have the same status, you're going to have very different interests, because just based on income level and where you're from. For example of this is that athletes generally hang out with other athletes, not because they don't like other people, but because their interests and their way of life are very similar. For example, a lot of my friends are athletes just because we understand the same things, we have the same time schedules, we do the same things with our lives. And this can be not seen with just athletes, it's seen with anything. You can even see things like this in the animal kingdom. The dominant male in a herd usually hangs out with the other dominant males when they go hunting. It's just stuff like that. You can see it pretty much anywhere where you look. A different angle of this is similar class. It just means similar interests. What I mean by that is if you look on pop culture, you have things such as class on the TV that you see on TV. They have the same things, same actions. For example, you see a rich person on TV, the things that they're doing and getting are a lot different than what you see a poor person getting. And just because of that, we subconsciously think that's what you deserve if you have that type of money. Just personally, it's hard for me to relate with a person who comes from a completely different lifestyle from me. If you have a friend who, I mean, is rich, has had everything given them their whole lives, and you maybe came from a hard life, didn't really get anything, they're going to have such different interests and such different way of living their life, it's going to be hard for you to relate on a day-to-day basis. I forgot to cite the similar interest from pop culture. That's from Bill Strom in the book More Than Talk, his textbook More Talk. Yeah. It is important to be a similar class, but you can overcome that. But every great friendship should be based off of belief in the same religion, which is my second main point. And same faith, as your friends, equals a lot of the same values. For example, all Christians share the 10 Commandments, and so they all share this belief that you shouldn't kill, shouldn't steal, shouldn't use the Lord's name in vain, etc., etc. And just something as simple as sharing the 10 Commandments can make your friendship work on such a different level, because that states kind of a basis of what you should and shouldn't be doing. Furthermore, Christians and Muslims would be hard to be friends because Christians live their lives based off the book, the Bible, and off what Jesus taught us when he was alive, while Muslims live their life off the Quran. And just that simple difference makes it hard to get together and hang out on a daily basis, because the actions that you find okay and not okay are completely different. All Christians share a mutual love in Jesus, and this ultimately is the reason that all great friendships should be backed by belief in the same values, same religion, because mutual love in Jesus can cause you to be able to turn to the Bible and solve any problem that way, instead of having to try to find an alternate source of solving problems. The Bible almost answers every problem, every situation you're ever going to be in. So by turning to that, just by both of you believing in that and be able to use that, you can solve almost all your problems. Great friendships are all built on a greater love for God than each other, and that's just important. So I mean, especially if you're a Christian. Although it's important to pick friends off a similar class and religion, Christians should befriend everyone, which was my third main point, which is Jesus hung out with prostitutes and non-believers. And a good example of what Jesus wanted us to do was the Good Samaritan in Luke 10, 25 to 39. And most of you know that story, but if you don't, basically a priest and just a Jewish man walk by someone on the street who needs help, needed him help him, and then a regular Samaritan helps him, pays for him to go to the hospital, or not the hospital, a hotel, and leaves him with some money to get on his way. You should help all people equally, whether regardless if they're Christian or not. And that's just another thing you saw in Jesus' life. He loved on everyone no matter what. Just because you accept someone doesn't mean you should accept their values. What I mean by this is you can love and on and accept a prostitute regardless of the decisions they're making, but obviously you shouldn't become a prostitute. I mean, it seems simple, but that's an extreme. You see that, and you can apply this to anything. I mean, just because you're accepting someone who cusses and swears all the time, and you shouldn't accept this behavior. This brings me back to my thesis. Christians should choose who they befriend and who they accept very differently. My main points, once again, were Christians should befriend people with similar socio and economic status. People should have great friendships based off religion. And Christians should choose who they accept and befriend very differently. And once again, don't be friends with a person who's a murderer or a thief, because that's going to give very bad misconceptions about Christianity.